Hello, this is my this is my hello. This is my three, two. Hi, this is Tommy, and this is my week one reflection for interpersonal communication. Starting off with the assignment, it talks about spending a day and just being very active and awake with what you're doing. For me, I have a couple notes that I have written down that I want to share about my experience being cognitively focusing on the what's going on for the past 8 to 12 hours. So it goes over talking about a couple types of communication. First being verbal face-to-face communication with individuals and groups. I found that almost all of my interactions with people has been fairly positive and very uplifting. I find that like verbally, like when I communicate with people on campus, for example, because I spent the most of my day on campus, people are very receptive to me, very nice, very outgoing, and honestly just very personable, like very easily impressionable. Like they're very nice to me, and I find that the face-to-face communication is very easy. There's no friction for the most part. Very rarely do I have like on the off chance that I would have a negative conversation. Um, I think the only type of negative conversation I would have is with my siblings, like if we're having a dispute. But most of the conversations I have are fairly good, and even with conflict, is typically very healthy and not toxic. When it comes to face, we have that down. Telephone communication. I was on my phone a lot of business stuff, like working on my brand and focusing on that type of stuff, and focusing on like texting friends, individuals back for like hangouts and for like future events and future like stuff going on, like or like, just like memes, like I send back and forth to my friends. Like when I some of my best friends from like all across like a couple states, like Utah, Arizona, Wyoming, mostly like Arizona and Utah, and Texas as well. They uh they'll send me memes. I just send it back. I just respond to them, and that's how we keep in touch. And that's one of the ways of communication I really find myself doing a lot. Also, this bleeds into texting and emailing. Is that like with emailing, it's more personal, like business stuff, like with ASG and with like brand association, like doing brand stuff. But with like texting individuals, it's typically like my mom, my dad, my friends, and typically I respond to people like with priority. So if I need to text you back within the hour, I'll text you, prioritize that text. And certain texts I personally won't respond to them intentionally because I don't want to open up a can of worms for a while. So when I have the time, I'll text the person back and reply. But I'll never really It's always healthy. It's never like toxic. Or I'm like I'm personally avoiding you for just to be for avoidance sake, you know. So that's going on. Instant message, same thing. Activity use of social media sites. Yeah, like Instagram, Twitter. I'm not really on Facebook or Twitter. I am on Instagram and a little bit of TikTok as well. And YouTube for music. The majority of my time on YouTube is like music and that stuff, and like information for content for for growing my brand and mostly just for school. But yeah, on Instagram, I use it to network with my friends. I post content. Like I posted I think 2 reels today on Instagram and TikTok, and then yeah, that's like what I do. I usually use it for a positive. I don't really find myself scrolling, so I've made a really healthy relationship with social media. And I fixed it where I no longer just mindlessly scroll for hours, but I actually have control over my social media use and actually have it be very productive. So that's really nice. Online gaming, I'm not really gaming right now at all. I've been really focusing on my passions in life, not really focused on that, and self-communication, journaling, meditation. I spent some time with the Word today and like spent time with the Lord in the morning, and I find that to be really nice. So for meditation's sake, that's typically when I'm meditating is with the Lord. So it's actually really, really helpful. Um, and then in the last part, I talked about making a 2-page reflection on like what type of communication you engage in the most, and like would you engage the least? Would you find what was your findings? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? What would you change about change about your communication? And like a couple of other questions refer like relating to that too, like what types of communication were you uncomfortable with? Which ones were you successful with? All that type of stuff. Anyways, when it came to communication, I find that I personally love face-to-face communication the most. I am okay with texting, and that's something I'm getting better at with texting and replying. That's something I'm definitely weak at. But I'm definitely very strong with verbal communication and like eye contact and physically showing how I feel and like really feeling the vibe of like how someone's feeling by communicating in person. and I'm a very impressionable person, so I can really tell, like, hey, is this person actually engaging with this conversation? Is their body language showing that type of stuff? I find that that's my strongest suit with it. Strongest suit with communication. My weakest, I'd say, is definitely like texting. Like sometimes when I text, the words I say on the screen do not come out as I intended it to be, which is unfortunate, but it's the reality, and I'm working on it. And I'm working on texting back people more sooner, like working on my punctuality with that, with like emails. Definitely my emails, like I have to be more punctual with that. That's definitely a form of communication I'm lacking in and need to work on. But two goals for communicating I definitely want to work on is definitely replying faster to my emails and being intentional with certain social media platforms, like my emails, my replying to DMs, stuff like that, being more intentional with that. And then also working on my texting, being able to convey the emotion in the intent of my text, being able to actually make the other person on the other end of the screen actually understand what I'm trying to say in a timely manner and all that stuff. But yeah, that's my week one reflection. Thank you for listening.